What's good, my gamers? In today's wonderful video, we're going to be talking about the Winter 2026 anime season. I know it's been it's been a bit of a wait this time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, someone has a life, SMH.
My bad.
I'm just looking at the disparity. I'm like, oh my fucking god, I am such a loser.
Yeah.
I've watched too much shit.
No, I've been a fraud. I'll admit, I'll put my hands up. Yeah, I've been an anime fraud. I've been a fraud. But I can say now, I am no longer a fraud. Obviously, the season's just started. I started 11 shows this season for spring. Once it was a bit of a peak one, I'm not gonna lie. It was two shows, 2 sequels, but I'm back now. This is gonna be mainly Aiden yapping, but it is what it is, I guess.
Yep. I'm gonna be yapping a lot this time. I don't even know which one I want to start with. What do I start with? This season was really good. This is gonna be a very, very top-heavy list. This was a ridiculously strong season. How do I even want to format something like this? Honestly, because I watched a lot, I'm gonna format it in the in the lame way. Let me I go with the plus minus system, baby.
Yeah.
Correct later. Because I watched too much shit.
By the way, just to ask now, do you have any D tier shows?
No.
Because I don't, so we can delete that if you
Yeah, I
want.
can delete that. I don't know if I even have any C tier shows. This was just.
I don't think so either.
Actually, I can't believe I'm doing this now. But I'm going to double check, make sure that I'm not missing anything. Because I like being thorough.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I did. Okay, somehow I forgot to add Invisible Man to my fucking thing. Glad I didn't forget about that. Oh man, I'm so. This is just such a ridiculously stacked year for anime in general. Like,
yeah,
because like winter is usually the lame season where fewer good shit comes out. This winter is better than most other seasons I've seen. This was a fucking insane season.
What, fair?
Honestly, I was gonna say I have no C tiers. I do have a C tier, but we'll get to that one later.
Okay.
Alright, which one do I want to start with? I think a good tone setter that would be... I think a good tone setter would be MHAV. First season of Vigilantes was really fun. I liked it a lot more than I was expecting to. Maybe the music is a little too... No, the music's not too loud. The music's just fine. Anyway, yeah, so first season of MHAV was a really fun vibe. I enjoyed the characters a lot. They had a decent overlapping story. Season 2 is in a really interesting position because Season 1 already had a pretty satisfying conclusion, which means that they had to pick up from the scraps they had earlier. The original trio was kind of split up, so Knuckle Duster isn't with the main two anymore for pretty much all of the season. Although he does end up having a plot point that is vaguely hinted toward in the first half, then doesn't really come into play until closer to the end of the season. I think they eventually did good things with him, but I also think he was kind of too absent in this season, almost. This season also has a pretty massive pacing issue in the fact that Horikoshi was like, alright, I don't know who wrote Vigilantes, but person who wrote Vigilantes, shoehorn Aizawa's backstory into your story. Just do it whenever, lol. So it comes out of nowhere. The backstory itself is fine. It's not bad, but it's a really baffling pacing choice. And it really hurts the quality of the rest of the season. I'm gonna make the music quieter. It's a really baffling pacing choice. the show is still good. The characters are still a vibe. I have fun with it. I particularly like the stuff they did with Captain Celebrity toward the end. It turned like it turned like a less likable but still charming character into like someone who I just straight up like now. So that's cool. There is not a ton to talk about with MHAV. It's just a good show. I think this is probably gonna end up being one of the lower ranked shows on my list, but it's a solid B- on this list. I enjoyed it. I think the first season was pretty noticeably stronger than the second, but I still like the second. Okay, what next? Because I think it would be funny, SBR. Oh yes, I'm gonna be talking about one episode of anime. How wonderful! Because so I have a confession to make. This is gonna make all the JoJo fans want to fucking kill me. I'm a part skipper.
Oh, yeah. I remember you telling me that.
I've only seen part 4. But like so my brother is like a huge JoJo fan, right? And he told me, I don't care if you're a part skipper, Aiden, watch part 7 when it airs, please. I'm so glad that I followed his advice, because holy shit, this episode was amazing. It was really fucking good. Like, this is everything I could ever want from a battle shonen, honestly. Like, my tier placement is probably going to end up being really low compared to how much I'm praising it, but again, gotta remember, this is only one episode that's released. I expect my rating to increase with time. For now, I only have it as an A-, but again, that's because there's only one episode so far. When more
the JoJo fans are gonna kill you, bro. My Twitter timeline is just filled with that one photo. I don't even know what the photo is of, but it's just people wishing for Stillborn 1 episode 2. Like, why? I'm surely it's not that good, right?
I mean, the first episode was really strong. Like, because like
this is. I mean, if you can get A- of one episode, then it's probably good, right?
Yeah. I actually think this has potential to become an S tier for me, and I'm not usually that big on like battle shonen. Like,
okay, I've got a question now. If it is like S tier, will you go back and watch parts 1, 2, and 3?
Maybe.
Damn.
JoJo's just fucking long. I don't have that time for that commitment. It's not that I don't want to watch JoJo, because it does seem interesting, but it's just like, it is a commitment.
I feel like that's good though, because JoJo fans love long things.
Yeah. Oh man, all the characters in that show are gay anyway. That may as well be a true statement. Yeah,
you can't take less than 10 sentences to describe JoJo and not have someone think you're gay.
True. But yeah, so like part 7 has basically everything that I would want from like a battle anime. I'm proving you right, aren't I? Holy shit, I am gay. So, because like here's the thing. So this is a battle series that is character driven, and where every single character represents a different philosophy, which represents different thematic concepts, which is fucking brilliant. And yet,
okay, that sounds really interesting, to be fair.
And yet the show never takes itself too seriously, which that's like the perfect like JoJo mix of having the absurdity of fucking weird JoJo shit, while also having this genuinely extremely deep philosophical backbone to it. And it's one of those shows where, again, this one episode, I have no idea where Araki's going to take this, which is again why I'm not having this ranked as high as I would otherwise, because there's a chance that he could fuck it up. I don't think he will, but there's a chance. Because
have you considered that he might take it up the arse? Sorry, I'm gonna slip in as many gay jokes as I can. It's JoJo's. Allow me, please.
No, you're cooking. Don't worry. Yeah. So with the so like another really clever thing that the show does is that man, the Uma fans are gonna fucking cream over this. This show, instead of having battles, is just horse racing. which
I
that's
heard, and apparently that's why it took so long. Because apparently horses are like a nightmare to animate. Apparently.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like yeah, so the characters are battling through horse racing, which this is actually a really cool idea because the idea of having these characters fight through racing makes it so there's constant high octane action constantly going on, and yet because the characters are constantly moving, the character psychology is able to come into play constantly. And of course, the concept is also just genuinely fucking absurd, and there's a lot of really funny shit that they do with it too. Did I mention there's a lot of really good jokes in this episode too? Like, it's not just like the deeper aspects that make me a fan of Part 7 so far. It's the fact that it is like goofy as fuck, but it's still super sincere within its goofiness, and that's my favorite combination. I love something that knows it's dumb while also being fully sincere with its themes. Like, I'm actually bumping this up. I've sung its praises so much. SBR is so good. I gotta. All right, time for me to go to Annie List and bump up my rating for SBR. There we go. Fixed as all things should be. Anyway, what do I want to talk about next? I have no idea.
You're not allowed to talk about free. You need to get viewer attention up.
Okay, we'll talk about
you have to say. Okay, fine, sure.
So, back in season 1, I ended up ruffling a lot of feathers when I said that Free Ren's overrated. I still don't quite get the hype around Free Ren. However, I will say, instead of being an A- now, it is now an A+ for me. It's been growing on me, it really has. Because the core appeal of Free Ren, for me anyway, is the fact that the characters are just really strong, the dynamics are very fun, which means that even when there's not a lot of plot going on, the show is still able to be entertaining because of the fact that it's able to bounce off of these genuinely really fun personalities. Like, the show has decent comedy, decent character development as well. It's slow moving, but it's very intentional in how it moves, which is a huge part of why Free Ren got as big as it did. This season also has like a demon hunting arc, which surely pissed off a lot of people. That's a fascinating rabbit hole. Personally, I think that the demons are perfectly fine writing-wise in Free Ren. Like, all the textual evidence supports the fact that they deserve to be eradicated. Like, these are not comparable to real people, guys. That's a huge rabbit hole, though. I would much prefer to delve into that further if I had like a script or something, so my arguments could like actually be articulated well. But that's like my baseline opinion for why I feel the way I do about Free Ren demons. In general, Free Ren also just has a lot of really cool things that it does. Ah, fuck! I just randomly hurt my fucking knuckle for no fucking reason on my fucking, just like banging it against my fucking desk.
Did someone say Knuckles?
Free Ren and Knuckle. Best collab ever, trust. Yeah, so then yeah, because like the use of flashbacks is extremely clever. I really and then like thematically speaking, I actually think that the demons are a really important aspect of the show, because demons represent the idea of weaponized empathy. The fact that humans inherently want to empathize with people who are similar to them. So the demons are able to take advantage of this. And of course, I'm sure someone could find like some real life connotations for how weaponized empathy can be used by corrupt people to manipulate people. Like, I think it's a really cool theme. Yeah, so like because a lot of the show is like Free Ren learning more about like what it means to be human.
Yeah.
And like discovering herself. Not necessarily that she didn't empathize with people beforehand, because of course she does. But doing so in a way that that grounds her more heavily, because she's still learning from a lot of the things that Himmel tried to teach her before his death and shit, right?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm probably...
She's like over 1,000, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Freeren's like old as shit. Yeah, one of my favorite jokes in season 1 is like this one dude is like really into like Onesan people, right? And then so Freeren is like, well, I'm an old lady.
I feel like she's transcended Onesan. I think she's like fucking Ober cubed Chan.
But I feel like at this point though, I'm just kind of rambling for the sake of rambling. I like Freeren. It's really good. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, all I can say is, as someone who hasn't watched Freerun, I heard demon slaying, therefore it's mid.
Demon Slayer is mid after all. I think this is a good time to talk about Polar Opposites. I really like Polar Opposites. It's really good. This is actually an example where I read the manga, read part of the manga beforehand. I ultimately dropped the manga because I knew that the adaptation would be coming out soon, and I wanted to wait on the adaptation. I also dropped the manga because I assumed they were going to be going down like this bullshit misunderstanding thing for like way too long.
I hate those. Oh my god.
Watching the anime though, it's like a thing for like 12 minutes and then they get over it. I think it's actually shorter than that. I dropped the manga too early.
Honestly, misunderstandings are some of the most infuriating things that happen in romance. Oh my god, they always want to involve it at least once. It's like, fuck off!
Granted, they handle it pretty well here, both because they get over it quickly and because it teaches something very valuable about both of the characters. Because, like, one of my favorite aspects of Polar Opposites is the fact that it portrays social dynamics very well. There are 6 main characters and 3 couples that the show orbits over. And all 3 of them are a different response to introversion and extroversion. The main couple of Tawny and Suzuki. Tawny is like your standard like glasses dude, right? But the twist is that he's completely secure in who he is. So instead of Suzuki being the Gyaru that fixes him, which is one of the most insufferable fucking tropes in all of anime, because it's so played to death. It's instead Suzuki is the one who overthinks everything because she's trying too hard to be an extrovert. Meanwhile, Tawny is completely fine with being an introvert, which creates a really interesting romantic contrast. Now, despite this, the relationship doesn't develop a ton. They're pretty healthy throughout the entire thing, which means that as like a wholesome romance dynamic, it's so fucking sweet. It's like I giggled like a fucking idiot like so many times during this show. It was so fun.
I feel like it show's good when it makes you giggle like a fucking idiot, like especially for like romance. When you're just smiling there, looking like a moron from the outside, that's when the shit is good.
Yep. Like I really enjoyed Polar Opposites. But like the thing that really elevates Polar Opposites for me, because like Suzuki and Tawny, for as good as their romance dynamic is, if it was just that, I'm not gonna lie, it would have gotten old. Because they get together in the first episode. Their relationship is mostly healthy. There's not too many hurdles that they can overcome at this point. Like, they're already mostly settled. So it's wholesome as shit, but it's, but movement comes more slowly. One thing that this show actually does a great job at, though, as a result of all of this, is the fact that it's one of the few romance anime that shows, like, what the couple like looks like after they become a couple, which allows it to explore different problems than what it's able to explore with the rest of the characters, because the rest of the characters are not in a position where they feel comfortable confessing, unlike Suzuki and Tani are. So then...
I think so. I know I haven't watched this show personally, obviously, but I have like read and watched a shit ton of romance. One of the most wasted potential things is when a show ends at confession, and it always makes me glad when um, writers aren't. I feel like lazy is the wrong word, but they're willing. They're not just trying to get to that romance bit. That's not what they're writing for. They actually. It feels like they do actually care about these characters, because even after kind of like the selling point of the show is, like the romance confession, they still want to keep going,
Mm-hmm. Like, and then there's two other romances in the show too. The first one is between Nishi, your standard, who represents anxious introversion, and then what the fuck am I forgetting his name? Let me. Okay. I like him too. I don't know why I'm forgetting his name. Yamada, Yamada. Who represents extroversion without thinking. So like Nishi is the kind of person who overthinks everything she's about to say, so she says nothing. Yamada doesn't think at all, so he just says whatever's on his mind.
Oof.
So the romance dynamic comes from is very visible, very obvious, and it's something that they very unsubtly try to push them toward a relationship for, which works. Because having it be like the more outward relationship building, while Tani and Suzuki are already locked in, I think is a really solid choice. And both Nishi and Yamada have things that they can learn from each other. Nishi needs to learn that it's okay for her to speak, while Yamada needs to learn to be a little bit more considerate with the words that he uses, which creates a very solid, very nice romantic dynamic for the two of them. Very easy to read. It just works. And then the third relationship, though, is my absolute favorite, and I think it has the most complexities and subtleties to it, which is why the first season has kind of barely gone into it. They've only teased hints at this could be a relationship. So I said that there's 3 couples in Polar Opposites in a Discord server I was in, and someone deadass responded, 3 couples? There was only 2. So okay. Oh. Clearly someone missed all of the hints with Tyra x Ozma. So Tyra,
I'm surprised you can even fucking skip a whole relationship, but okay.
Yeah, so Tyra represents pessimistic introversion. His character is defined by rejecting the idea of socialization in its entirety. Not necessarily because he's afraid of it, but because he's disgusted by it, right? His character feels like a self-call-out, not gonna lie. I relate to him so fucking strongly. I relate to both Nishi and Tyra, but Nishi's a very standard social anxiety portrayal. You've seen characters like her constantly before. Tyra is a very unique kind of character because he's someone who can socialize, but just fucking hates it.
Yeah, is it kind of like a Rio from Bocchi the Rock situation, or?
No, because unlike Rio, he is very insecure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because one of the big dynamics, so Tani is the secure introvert who's perfectly fine with being an introvert. Tyra sees his social success with Suzuki, is confused and angry about it. Cause
oh.
It's how the fuck does the glasses wearing introvert who hardly interacts with anyone end up with someone like Suzuki, right? And this is not necessarily a place of romantic jealousy. He's not into Suzuki or anything.
Oh, okay. Just him in general. Okay, got it.
Yeah. So for the vast majority of the series, Tyra's traits are pretty obviously seen as not good. he has a lot to learn. However, one of my favorite moments in the entire series, and what really elevates this into being a genuinely fantastic romance series, in my opinion, is his dynamic with Azuma. Azuma, she is someone who will go with the flow, even when it's stupid, meaningless, and she hates it, because preserving any sense of like social normalization is more important to her than trusting her gut or being
Was that me?
or being reasonable. And Tyra is actually able to teach her something incredibly valuable, which is the fact that you don't have to act like that, because Tyra is someone who rejects social conventions outright, and chooses not to participate in them at all. Azuma participates in them too heavily. So both of them are going to end up having to learn things from each other. So even though this is a very subtly developed romance, I think that it's going to end up being the absolute highlight of the second core when it airs in summer.
Not gonna lie, you've convinced me. I want to watch this.
It's really fucking good.
Really convinced me.
Like, I can yap about Polar Opposites forever. Honestly, I might actually even make a main channel video about it. I have that much to say about it.
Ooh. After the second core, or like before?
It would be after the second core. I would want to talk about everything that happens in it.
Fair enough.
Because the manga's not super long, so after the second core gets adapted, that'll be it. So it's getting a full adaptation. I think that's all of the yapping that I had to do about it. Honestly, depending on how the rest of the year ends up going, I might end up bumping it up a tier, or even depending on how the second core goes, I might end up bumping it up a tier placement. I really enjoyed Polar Opposites. It's a ridiculously strong romance series. And like it's the rare kind of romance series where I feel like it can appeal to any romance anime fan because of the fact that it has 3 different relationship dynamics that appeal to 3 different kinds of romance fans at the same time. Like there's something for everyone to enjoy in this one.
Yeah. If you want, I can go over Hell's Paradise, then you can do 3.
Sounds good, because my voice is dying.
Yeah. I assumed. So, Hell's Paradise Season 2, I am a manga reader. It was like, I was sold on I think it was like episode 10 of Season 1. I got sold on it when they introduced the like power system, because I actually think the power system's really interesting, because the power system is about being strong, but also embracing weakness. And that's what ends up kind of giving the most power, I guess. I think in general the series has some really interesting kind of things it wants to talk about, I guess. A lot of it being like there's a lot on like I'd say morality and like who is bad and who is good, because the main character Gabimaru, he's a ninja for his village, and he got his name. His name isn't actually like his birth name, it's a title, because of how many people he's killed. And like, but here's the thing, he doesn't kill because he enjoys it or anything. He actually really hates killing, and he's strangely very human for someone whose name is Gabimaru the Hollow. He's very human, like he has a wife and everything, and to the point where at the start he wanted to leave his village with his wife. Instead, he almost got assassinated. He escaped but got arrested. Now he's going to this island where he has this woman who is part of a samurai clan, protecting him. Not really protecting. Basically, if he's out of line, he's fucked, essentially. But she is a very interesting character in her own right, because sorry, she has a lot to learn too from Gabimaru himself, because she is at this point she's a woman in a who wants to be a samurai, and that's very heavily looked down upon, because women want to stay and have kids and stay in the home kind of. It's like set in the past. So called. She learns a lot from Gabimaru, kind of, and because she has a similar thing of really hating to kill, especially at the start of the series. She she can't really go through with it, but she kind of learns from him that he does too. He fucking hates killing too, but he still goes through with it to protect the people he loves. Yeah, like, okay, I did kind of like not pay the most attention to season 2 because I had like already read it, and by the way, when I read it, it was also great. I think season 2 wasn't as good as season 1. I think it was still great, but it wasn't as good. Now, I don't know if that's a hot take or not. Probably is. Because the fighting was great. Mappa, beautiful fight scenes. And as I said, I think the power system is really interesting. I don't want to go too much into season 2, because I think if you do like shonen shows, I highly recommend this one, because it's got everything really. Good animation, actually good story, power system. It's cool. Obviously, Gabmore is a fucking ninja. That's cool as shit.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So he can summon fire, and like the funny thing is, they don't even kind of explain how it's done. He's just able to do it. Basically, like Gamera is actually being sent to be killed again during season 2. They're sending more because the Shogun who sent them to this island where nature is like powerful to the point of like murderous kind of. That's why it's called Hell's Paradise, because they're said to be an elixir of life that grants immortality, but it's actually fucking hell when you get there, and no one's ever made it out alive. And his village is sending in more people to A, try to get the elixir of life, and B, to kill Gabmeru again. Obviously I ain't gonna spoil anything else, because I'm under the assumption a season 3 will come, because it did really well. And Mappa aren't the type to dump anime for no reason. I will give this an A tier.
Got it. I decided last minute to just make it
Yeah, fair enough.
just like
I probably
someone-
would have put it in the same tier as what you put in anyway, so
yeah.
That's good.
So then I'm like trying to figure out what I want my order to be. Because like I've almost talked myself into liking Polar Opposites more than everything else in my A tier. I think I am gonna make it top of my A tier. Alright, time to go back to Annie List, increase my rating.
I think that's like another good thing about making these videos, like talking about shit like this can help you appreciate something even more than you already did, because like you're laying out why you like something.
Yeah, I have a lot of 8.5s this season. It's actually my most common rating this season.
You sound like me when I first started watching anime. I used to give a 9 out of 10 to fucking everything.
Yeah, this season was just that good, straight up. What do I want to talk about next? I'm thinking a good tone setter would be Invisible Man. Invisible Man was a romance series that just completely surprised me with how genuinely solid it was. The setup is very simple. Invisible dude ex blind girl. The show is able to blend in some really solidly well done, but also very subtly implemented discrimination themes, while also being able to indulge in wholesome romanceness at the same time. It is very cute.
Sorry, by the way, I just need to ask. I know, like, invisible gets thrown around. Is he genuinely invisible?
Yeah, he is
Oh,
invisible.
Okay, because I didn't know if it was like the
Oh, you thought this might have been like a
some
Cooper
type of
situation.
invisible, or if it was like actually you couldn't see the dude. Okay,
Yeah, no, like he is like actually invisible.
okay,
As you can see on the poster, his head is not here.
yeah, okay. I'm reading the synopsis on AniList. This looks cute as shit.
It's really good. Yeah, so like the blind girl Shizuka, right? She's like a chronic overthinker, right? So she has like her
Sounds like
VA
me.
is, I'm pretty sure she's a relatively new VA. She does such a fucking good at voicing anxious characters. Like holy shit, her range for that is so fucking good. And
She started in 2017.
oh wow, in the yeah, so in the second episode, her nervous noises are done so well that the fucking invisible dude Tonome asks, "Why are you speaking in sound effects?" Like this show has so much charm to it. Yeah, so like I also, in general, the thing that really elevates the series for me beyond like just a cute romance, because it absolutely is a cute romance, but the thing that elevates it to me is the fact that Tonome is not the only invisible person. Is not the only fantasy creature here. The whole show is contingent on the idea that a whole bunch of fantasy races exist, which allows. So while the discrimination sort of like sub theme is mostly focused on Tonome, and how him being invisible gives him a lot of challenges and how people perceive him. Challenges that he doesn't have to deal with Shizuka because Shizuka can't see anyone anyway. So so Shizuka's just able to judge him for who he is instead of how he looks. Which means that he's finally able to find someone who can just accept him properly. It's so cute.
I love stories like that. I was gonna say I love stories like that.
Like this show's good. Like but yeah, like there's other there's other fantasy creatures as well. Like there's Oni who are who face discrimination for being too strong. There's white elves and dark elves, both of which have sort of like a cultural rivalry going on. Because like white elves give people blessings, dark elves give people curses. One of
Sorry. I'm just thinking about a race joke. Sorry, I probably should say that. Sorry.
I mean, I'm basically giving you a silver platter to make race jokes with.
Exactly.
Yeah, so like so one of the two of the side characters are like a dark elf and a light elf couple. So like the dark elf dude, he's like super fucking crazy about his wife, and will go to like ridiculous extremes whenever he can't be with her for like even a second. It is fucking hilarious and it's adorable at the same time.
Is it in the cringe yandere type thing, or is it just like cute?
Yeah, no, it's just cute.
Okay, good.
Yeah, like and then another thing that this show did a really surprising job at, so like two of the few human characters in this show are actually a gay couple, which for a non-yaoi series that is exceptionally rare.
Yeah.
Like I thought that was cute. Like this show is like surprisingly breaks a lot of really cool new ground, and yet is able to do so through the perspective of something that's a lot more cozy and low-key, which creates a really distinct vibe of something where if you want to look into it deeper, you absolutely can. But if you want to just enjoy it for being cute and wholesome, you can still enjoy it for that. It's actually kind of a similar appeal to Polar Opposites in that way. I'm not quite as big on it as Polar Opposites. Also, one thing I gotta say, the production values for this are surprisingly good. So you know how Project Number 9 made like Angel Next Door, right? And that show looks like dog shit. Same studio.
Oh my god, yeah.
This is the same studio, right? Invisible Man has fucking insane Sakuga sometimes. Like, holy shit levels of how the fuck does this even look so good?
Fair. I really want to watch this now, to be honest.
Like, episode 11 in particular is one of the best looking fucking anime episodes I've ever seen. Like, what the fuck happened? How much crack did they give these animators?
Probably more than they did for Invincible. That's what it was.
Most of the production values are pretty standard for the most part, but this show does a really good job at picking the important scenes that need to have the most animation attention put toward them, and it fucking delivers when those scenes come by. Honestly, fuck it, A tier, why not? Why the fuck not?
Damn!
I very rarely put like fluff romance in like my A tiers, because I would definitely say this counts as a fluff romance.
Yeah.
But it's a fluff romance that has a strong thematic core. It's a fluff romance that I can still think about fondly to this day, and it's a fluff romance that has like ridiculously good production values when it needs to. Again, like episode 11 looks fucking incredible. And there's also, like, I think it's like episode 8, there's a fight scene that looks better than like 90% of isekai fight scenes. It's great.
Damn!
This is a romance show about an invisible dude baiting a blind girl. Well, why the fuck is there a fight scene that looks that good in it?
Man, you're giving me more reasons to watch this, man.
Let's continue the romance train. Let's talk about Watanare, aka Gay! What I love about Watanare is that it's basically a girl saying, "I'm not gay" the entire time, meanwhile being the most gay person ever. Like, the concept of a Yuri harem is ridiculously stupid and dumb, and yet the show treats itself very sincerely, acknowledges some of the goofy aspects of its premise, and the themes actually benefit from the idea of it being a harem, because, again, this is the main character who is in extreme denial about being gay, so having fucking 4 girls that want to bane her, forces her to realize, oh shit, maybe I am gay. It's a really cool idea for a show, very unique.
I'm not gay, she said, gaying me.
Like, and so what aired this season was like a 5-episode like continuation of the first season. The first season I already really enjoyed, but I do have a couple of like more minor nitpicks with it. Like, first season like ended before I could really get into the meat and potatoes. One of the characters, Kaho, doesn't really get used like at all in season 1. She's like the one character in the friend group that just like does nothing consistently. But these extra 5 episodes actually focus on Kaho, which is great. She's my favorite character now. I love her. Because a big part of the series 2 is the main character, Reinako, is an introvert. I would say that her social anxiety is like more comparable to someone like Kita than Bochi. So someone who gets drained from like social expectations but can still manage being an extrovert, and fitting into that circle for the most part. And so she ends up with like this extrovert friend group after getting a glow up in high school. So like a very consistent theme that's focused on throughout the series is the idea that that all of the characters are performing in one way or another. Reinako, being an introvert, is also a lot more real. That aspect of her is something that she doesn't like about herself, and yet is the exact thing that every one of the girls ends up loving her for. And the first person who falls in love with her is like the typical like a Joseon character, like the rich model, and she is fucking down bad for the main character, like down bad, which forces the main character Reinako to come to terms with the fact that, wait, I'm loved, what? And a lot of the confusion that comes around with that.
Love!
Like, yeah, so then the focus of these 5 episodes, though, Kaho, and the reason why I like Kaho so much, her character, she's someone who, she's someone who is, actually a lot more similar to Reinako, in, like, performing, like, this extrovert role, and is apparent, when she wears contacts, she's able to perform the extrovert role perfectly. When she puts her glasses back on, she's, like, turbo introvert, even more so than Reinako. That contrast is very cute, obviously, but it's also doing something really interesting, from a character perspective, because it shows Reinako that she's not necessarily alone in this. And then I think the ending of this these 5 episodes is done really well. Like, obviously I ain't gonna spoil, but yeah, it's done very well. Watanabe is really good. I like Watanabe a lot. I would probably place it at the top of my A tier, honestly. Like, it's really good. Anyway, what do I want to talk about next? Fuck, I don't know. I actually don't know. I guess we can talk about Ikoku Nikki next. I really like Ikoku Nikki. It's really good. It is a josei drama, about a high school girl who loses her parents and gets taken in by her aunt. The aunt character, Makio, she does not like the main character Asa's parents, and is pretty blatant about that. Makio is an extremely relatable character. She is like just autism the character. Like very hyper fixated on novels, can't really get any other aspect of her life together. Is capable of socializing, but has occasional spurts of anxiety, or just general levels of discomfort with people she's unfamiliar with. Like, holy shit, Makio is relatable. Honestly, I probably should introduce an A- tier, just because, like, my A tier is just fucking enormous.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, so Makio was actually the highlight of Ikoku Nikki for me, like, by a long shot. I did really like Asa's character too. Asa, it's just a well-told grief story. I didn't really connect with as other aspects of the series as much as I did with Makio, if I'm being completely honest about it. And yet the grief storyline was still done really well. The most interesting thing about Asa's character is that she just does not know how to process the death of her parents, like, at all. So she just chooses not to. Which makes it so that the moment when she does is the most emotionally effective scene of the entire series. Like, and it ends off pretty satisfyingly too. I don't know if they adapted all of the manga, but it feels like they did. Very satisfying ending. Yeah, I really like Ikoku Nikki. I would put it probably about like here. This is the kind of show where if you identify with Asa's character way more than I did, you're probably gonna think it's one of the best shows you've ever seen. Which, like, more power to you. But for me, most of my enjoyment came from Makio. Anyway, JJK, how about you yap about this one first? My throat hurts.
Alright. JJK. This is an interesting show. I mean, JJK is one of like the bigger modern shonens, along with like My Hero, stuff like that, Demon Slayer, stuff like that. And just as an overview of what I think about Jujutsu Kaisen in general, season 1 was okay. I think there was some potential. There was some good fights, and you know the animation was good. But there wasn't much, to be honest. There wasn't that much that I could see being like a story. I guess there was some, but there wasn't too much. Season 2 though, season 2 was great, I think. Like it wasn't peak, but you know, they've really honed in on those fight scenes being absolutely beautiful. They actually gave Yuji some character, because like there's always that one bit where the main character's like, I was too weak to protect my friends, I want to become stronger. They all do that. That barely even counts as fucking development. Saying you don't want your friends to be murked is not character development. That's just being normal. But obviously after the whole Shibuya incident, that's something completely different, because you know this all started from a choice Yuji made at the start of the series, which was to eat the finger. That's alright, but the problem is, in season 2 they resolve his character arc way too quickly. So season 2 had promise. Season 3 just kind of fucking ruined it, to be honest. I feel like all semblance of story kind of flew out the window, apart from Maki. Maki had some great episodes, in my opinion. Where she fucking murked her entire family, that was hype. That was really cool. And I think she was one of the few interesting characters left in the show, because she has gone through hardship her entire life. She really wants to be able to become a proficient Jujutsu sorcerer, but she never could. Not even close. She needed fucking glasses to see curses. That's how bad it was. But now she has this power, and you know she's really fucking cool. Then you have Yuta, who, I mean, he's okay. I think he was like, obviously he had Jujutsu Kaisen 0, so this wasn't the very, very first time we had seen Yuta. Even in JJK 0, like, he was okay, but nothing like incredible. But, you know, it's a movie at the end of the day.
Yeah, like Zero is
you
pretty
can't
much
really
entirely
expect that
carried by
much.
Geto and shit. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Yuta's just fine.
Speaking of Geto, obviously this isn't Geto, but we've got the start of the Culling Games, which is like, I don't think this is a spoiler, but the Culling Games is a large part of the entire rest of the series. So, yeah, it's important, I guess, but, you know, was it really? It wasn't much, to be honest. Like, yeah, we got some new characters and stuff like that, but honestly, to me, Jujutsu Kaisen, to summarize season 3, it's chaotic. I feel like there's so much going on. Of course, there's the whole meme of, you know, the Culling Games rules being a fucking giant wall of text. If I'm being honest, I don't really care that much about that. Obviously, I feel like if they had dragged out, explained the rules more, there wouldn't be a giant fucking wall of text. It'd be similar to a lot of different other anime. For example, Greed Island and Hunter x Hunter. That wasn't a fucking wall of text, but it was arguably even more complicated than the Culling Games. So, you know, sure, that is an issue that Mappa had. I don't think they should have jumbled it all into one frame, but and like one scene. But you know, it is what it is. But even though you have the Culling games as one overarching thing that will span the rest of the story, it feels like after that you have so many different things. There's no time to, you know, slow down. Let's slow down. Let's focus on what's going on right now. It's kind of, you get a bit of this. Oh, now we're time to move on. Oh, now we need to move. Now we need to go to some other characters that are somewhere else. See what they're getting up to. You know, I think in an alternate world it can go right, but I feel like it just wasn't in this season. It doesn't work. I'm sorry to say. It's too chaotic. Like, even in 24 episodes, what was it? No, 12 episodes, right?
Yeah,
I'm being stupid. Yeah, like, if it was a 24 episode season with the same amount of content, I would not have. I would think of it higher than I do. Granted, it wouldn't be peak because, you know, there's problems regardless of pacing. But I think the pacing just really doesn't help. I think the pacing is really poor. And unfortunately, as a manga reader, that's kind of an issue that spans the rest of the manga, you know. There's I think Gege has a lot of really good ideas, but it's kind of like he gets hyperfixated on a certain idea, but then just as quickly as he starts writing about it, he stops and moves on to something else. But like, he still kind of wants to finish what he was talking about before, but he's like, oh, I'll deal with that later. And that just doesn't work. And I do think, if Jujutsu Kaisen was, say, a light novel, where he's writing an entire volume at a time and not releasing weekly chapters, I think season 3 could have genuinely been a lot better. I think it's a result of the pressure of being one of the most, like, at the time, like, one of the most successful manga in the world currently releasing. And being weekly, there's going to be so much pressure. Especially, you know, in the shonen sphere. I think most people watching this, I know you will understand, Aiden, there's a lot of pressure on shonen mangaka. They get a lot of shit from readers, viewers, whatever. People are so critical. I think it's so difficult to constantly be at the top of your game. And I think I do feel, you know, sympathy for Gege, but I do have to be honest, like, this is like B tier, I think. That's the best I can give it. On the general side, I'm giving it a B tier. And that's like a low B tier, to be honest.
And me personally, I'm giving it a C.
You know what? Put it in C. I don't mind that.
Yeah. So, you've covered most of my thoughts, and I agree with pretty much everything what you said. I did back. We've been doing these videos since 2023. Holy shit. So I did.
That's crazy. Sorry.
Yeah. So I didn't. So when we did like I think it was summer 2023. That was when JJK season 2 aired. I decided to skip it because I didn't like the first season, but my brother's been begging me to watch JJK, so I'm like, fucking fine. So I watched a recap video of season 1 because I didn't want to rewatch season 1. It's like, wow, the ideas of JJK are really fucking strong. What? I thought that the execution of season 1 was just fine. Nothing crazy. Then season 2 rolls around, and the ideas are even stronger, baby. Like, genuinely, so many fucking good ideas here. Hidden Inventory, I think, is a genuinely decent arc. It is by far my favorite JJK arc. I don't think it's perfect by any means. I think it has some more minor issues with it, but it's the closest that JJK gets to being genuinely good, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And Shibuya Incident is so many good ideas that are absolutely fucking ruined by the fact that Gege just does not know when to stop the fucking brakes. So like because Gege sacrifices meaningful and earned character development in place of utter chaos, and a fast-paced story. Now, meaningful character development and fast pacing can coexist. JoJo Part 7 is great at this. Like, action is constantly happening in that series, constantly, and yet the character development is still ridiculously strong throughout. But then JJK shows up and it's like, alright, we're just gonna brush over Sukuna fucking killing a bunch of people. We're not gonna like actually do any like close-ups of like the people who were killed, or like show like why we should care about the people that he killed. Yeah, we're just gonna brush over that. Anyway, Yuji's gonna get over it after fucking Idol fan 6-7 fucking talks to him about why he needs to get back up on his feet. So yeah, Yuji's character arc is already done. Congratulations, guys. Wow, did you want a good story out of me? Fuck you for caring about good writing. I do not like season 2.
Yeah. I think like the whole thing of like Yuji was after the whole Sukuna killing everyone, he was like fucking broken.
Yeah, like he should
be.
He
was like, of course, that's something that I'd expect him to not even get over by the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but he's just like kind of straight up to it. He goes after he kills him in his domain and stuff, and he says the whole speech. But that's it, because again, Gege feels like he has to move on to something else. You know, to me, Jujutsu Kaisen is kind of like the TikTok anime.
Yep, it was made for ADHD brains who have no attention span.
And I used to always call Solo Leveling the TikTok anime, but I feel like they're both TikTok anime, but for different reasons. Solo Leveling is the story; they just don't care about the story; they just want straight away entertainment. But Jujutsu Kaisen is, sure, we're gonna try and have story, but we don't want to drag it out too long. It's gonna be a couple episodes, we'll move on to something else. Couple episodes, we'll move on to something else. And for a story that really has so many good ideas, you can't have these deep ideas and ditch them so quickly, because then, you know, all semblance of seriousness, and you know, you can't take any section of the story seriously after Hidden Inventory. Because with Hidden Inventory, you can think, oh, maybe we'll get something good. And you get 6 episodes of something good. But after that, you kind of, you know, as soon as you see an idea that you think is interesting, you're like, oh, no, that's going to be gone in a couple episodes. There's no point trying to look deeper into it, because it's never going to get resolved. So what's the point? So, at the end of the day, they do try to make story, but what's the point of being in? There's nothing to be invested in. There's no recurring theme of Jujutsu Kaisen. The entire story, there's not a single one. Good, trying to beat evil, curses are bad. That's all we get. That's not a fucking story theme. That's just kind of basic common sense. So, like, what is there? What reason is there to have faith in the story? At that point, it ends up being like Demon Slayer, where you just fucking watch for the cool fight scenes, and that's why people love it so much, because it's got cool fight scenes. The story doesn't matter.
Yeah, because honestly, that's like the frustrating thing. Because like a Demon Slayer, I can acknowledge the fact that the story just clearly does not give a shit about being good. JJK constantly feels like it's trying to tell something that's genuinely meaningful. Like, the show like actually has like themes. The reason why Hidden Inventory works is because it has like themes. Like the idea of how to use strength is a really interesting theme. Like, the ideological contrast between strength should protect the weak, or being contrasted against strength should serve only the strong, is a really cool idea. I think one of my biggest problems with JJK thematically speaking, though, is the fact that Yuji just isn't really challenged ideologically that hard. Like
No.
all of the other characters agree with Yuji. Like, I think that Yuji would have been a really good character if he was written similarly to Hifumi from Blue Archive. The reason why Hifumi works in the Eden Treaty arc is because she's the only character who chooses optimism in a world that is extremely brutal and where everyone's trying to tear each other apart. JJK is an even more brutal world. Characters should be pessimistic as shit. JJK is a very similar setup to Chainsaw Man. The reason why Chainsaw Man's world feels lived in and real is because characters react realistically to their circumstances. JJK, sorcerers are treated like fucking superheroes.
And one thing I just want to mention as well, the Shibuya Instant Arc and the entire Cullen games is something unheard of in the Jujutsu world. It's not something like... the whole point is trying to revive the Golden Age, which was 1,000 years ago. So, for them to act so casually to something this grand doesn't make any sense. It makes zero, because if you remember, at the start, they make special grade curses a big deal. Yuji and Megumi and Nobu are finding that just Yuji and Megumi finding that special grade, that's fucking unheard of. That was so rare. Why was it there? But throughout the story, special grades are after season 1, you barely see any curses that are not special grade. So the whole kind of fear that special grades are meant to exert onto the world is meaningless, because it's just your average Joe curse at this point. And of course they're not average, they're incredibly strong, but it's the only curse you kind of see, so you can't really feel how powerful they are until they get into a fight. And well, in season 1, the only real fight we saw was Gojo versus Jogo, which wasn't even close. And then in season 2, you had, Sukuna wrecking up the place, Yuji's mercilessly beating Mahito, not even being close, even though Yuji is not that strong of a sorcerer, if we're being honest. It doesn't make any sense. Not the scale of Jujutsu Kaisen got so big, I guess, that the scale that was previously established and all the quote unquote world building, the world building was bad, but the world building, at least whatever they had of world building, it's fucking useless, because grade 1 sorcerer doesn't matter after season 1. They make a big deal in the post credits of the last episode that Yuji is gonna be grade 1. Season 2, after Hidden Inventory starts with their grade 1 exam. No one cares afterwards. What's it called? Special grade 2 curses, grade 3 curses, nothing afterwards. It doesn't matter. None of it matters anymore. That's why it annoys me, because the world building is so bad and the story is even worse.
Yeah. To continue on with my point about how Yuji should have been characterized, Yuji's characterization is actually fine if you keep it unchanged, but you need to change the world around him in order to make his character interesting. The reason why is because Jujutsu Kaisen should be a much darker world than it is, because the manga commits to the idea that it is dark, right? Characters die constantly. It's a lot bloodier than most other shonens. It is a brutal world, and yet all of the characters have the same altruistic mindset of we need to save the world from curses. If there was more complexity into that, and if there were more people who were resistant, who had more complicated motives, then Yuji's mindset would be continuously challenged. That would also help reframe a character like Gojo too, where he's not just the strongest, but also the ideal the ideal peak of Yuji's philosophy. Like that would be a really cool concept. The show just never really uses that opportunity though. Yeah. So then season 2 ends. I can't believe I haven't even talked about season 3 yet. I have that many problems with JJK.
Yeah.
So then season 2 ends, right? The cliffhanger is insanely fucking strong. The fucking government wants to kill Yuji. Wants to detain Gojo. Like whether and like a hugely interesting mystery pops up as a result of this. Is the government corrupt, or are they severely misunderstanding the situation? So then that's where Yuta shows up as like the assassin for Yuji. That would be like, that idea is so fucking strong, and that first episode of season 3 is genuinely really fucking cool. Like it's one of my favorite JJK episodes. They resolve it the next episode later, and then the third episode is a 20-minute exposition dump on how the culling game works. Season 3 is the animated equivalent to a massive middle finger. It shits on everything that I wanted to like so badly about JJK, and decides, yep, we're not gonna do any of that. Fuck you. So even though season 3 has the best directing, even though season 3 has some really solid like individual episodes, if you treat it as like an anthology series where none of the plot actually fucking matters, then you can enjoy season 3. You can actually get some interesting things out of season 3. But because of my reading of it as like a severe middle finger to everything that I wanted to like about the show, I actually hate season 3 more than any other season of JJK.
I agree.
Like, I'm shocked by how passionately I dislike season 3.
I feel like season 2 had potential, so I'm giving it credit, and Hidden Inventory was decent. Season 1 I can chalk up to it was the start, so that explains kind of like the first few episodes. Honestly, like I feel like if you look at it as the whole series, a lot of season 1 is also pretty shit, because a lot, again, as I was saying, the scale of season 1 is completely meaningless. A lot of the events of season 1 become completely meaningless in the context of the whole show. That whole the high school fight competition, whatever it was called, the high school exchange event, that's what it was. That is completely meaningless, because it's literally grade 2 and 3 curses, sorcerers, fighting for no apparent reason. And then, like, if you compare it to what happens, like, 10 episodes later in season 2, who cares?
Yeah.
Oh, there's so much to be annoyed about Jujutsu Kaisen, because that's the annoying thing, like, there is promise, because, like, the thing is, Demon Slayer's story pisses me off, but that shit had no potential from the beginning. Sony Level it pisses me off. There was only like a smidge of potential at the start with his mum. That's it. Jujutsu Kaisen had the potential, and it just all fell apart. It completely fell apart.
Like, JJK could have genuinely been an excellent series, in my opinion. So the fact that it's not, like, really rubs me the wrong way. So, like, even though I think JJK is better than both Demon Slayer and Solo Leveling, it pisses me off more than either of those.
Yeah, I agree.
We yapped about JJK way more than, like, good shows. That's hilarious. It's a lot easier to point out when something's not good than when it's good, I guess.
Yeah, especially when it's like the third season, we did talk about Jujutsu Kaisen as a whole, and it's a lot more of a controversial opinion, so I think it's good to talk about it.
Yeah, so
more.
Elaborating on why we have that perspective is pretty important, because because a lot of people enjoy JJK, and I don't even blame them either. Like, it's a fantastic looking series. It's really well directed. Hidden Inventory and season 3 particularly have ridiculously good directing.
I've said this before. I will never ever admonish someone for liking a show. If you like a show, power to you. I'm just saying why I don't like it.
Like, the reason why I don't have this in D tier is because I understand where the base level of entertainment value comes from, and I'm not immune to that, right? You see a fun fight scene and go, yeah, I like this.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I wish I liked the fight scenes more, because I feel like the power system is, like, needlessly overcomplicated for no fucking reason, but that's a whole other complaint.
And to me, the reason why it feels like it's for no reason is because they don't really explore it.
Yeah. Anyway, we're talking about Beastars now. So, I'm, like, the biggest Beastars fan you will ever fucking meet. I love Beastars so fucking much. It is peak. So what did I think about the final core to the final season? The first, like, 9 or so episodes are amazing. They do have to skip a lot, and they are rearranging a lot of aspects. They're actually even adding in a couple of new scenes. One of my biggest problems with the manga version of the Revenge of the Love Failure arc, or I'm just gonna call it the Melon arc, because that's easier to say. One of my biggest problems with the manga's version of Melon arc is the fact that Haru doesn't show up all that much. But the final season actually changes that. Like, Haru has more present scenes, more interactions with Louis, which is a really good change. Like, a lot of the changes feel very intentional. Some of the cuts are still very unfortunate. They cut the scene where Legoshi meets Haru's parents. That was a pretty important scene in the manga that they unfortunately didn't. They unfortunately cut out. There's also a really good structural change with when they show off Gosha's backstory. Gosha's Legoshi's grandfather. So in the manga, it shows that very early on in the interspecies relations arc, where just sort of show, oh yeah, this guy, this funny grandpa guy, yeah, his backstory's tragic as shit. In the anime, they save that towards very close to the end, and they recontextualize it by having Gosha talk to Haru about it, which is a really fucking good structural change, because it changes the context of the scene from here's Gosha's backstory to here is Gosha explaining to Haru the challenges that she will face if she decides to date Legoshi, which is a really good idea, structurally speaking. Then the last 3 episodes happen. These are some of the worst anime episodes I've ever fucking seen in my entire life.
When you started talking about how you thought, I knew it was gonna go bad. I didn't think it'd be that bad.
So the manga's ending is already controversial. For the most part, I like the manga ending. I think the abolition of the black market is the only part of the manga ending that I think is fucking retarded. Everything else, I think is done fine. Is the manga ending slightly abrupt? Sure. But it's still well done. The anime ending, to its credit, does fix the one issue that I had with the manga ending. That's good, I guess. I fucking hate everything else that these last 3 episodes do. So they cut Q, and they cut, like, what? Why did they cut Q? She was, like, the one who fucking... They cut, like, the Chimera shit, too. Like, some people will look at, like, the Legoshi Chimera shit and go, oh, this is just fucking stupid. Haru is just writing, like, the dumbest shit ever now. But no, it is extraordinarily important thematically speaking. Because so, like, the Chimera concept is, like, how someone thinks of themselves as they're fighting. So Q, despite being, like, a rabbit, sees herself as, like, a super strong person that makes her, like, stronger, right? The concept is ridiculous and absurd, but it's very strong thematically speaking. So Legoshi, what he does he sees himself as a wolf rabbit hybrid, which makes him look weaker, but the fact that he's willing to accept the difficult life that he has ahead of him for this interspecies love is the whole point of his chimera transformation. Like, the anime adaptation completely skips that. And then you have how they handled Melon. Melon is the most important part of Melon's arc, obviously. He is the main villain of the entirety of final season. So, like, Melon is a very interesting villain because he is batshit insane evil to the point where any and all, like, complexity with him is just kind of out the window. Like, his point as a character is not to be a complex villain, but rather to be the most exaggerated form of resistance to Legoshi's philosophy. Because Legoshi thinks, I can make my interspecies love work. And an interspecies child I will have will end up being great. Melon is a hybrid, and yet he is a complete fucking psychopath with absolutely zero redeeming qualities. And that is the reason why he works. Not because he's a complex character, but because of the fact that his entire existence completely spits in the face of what Legoshi thinks. And yet Legoshi is also a very self-righteous character, so he's gonna keep fighting for what he wants despite that. He's gonna keep trying to find forgiveness in Melon despite the fact that there is no forgiveness to be found. And that's what makes Melon such a ridiculously well-written villain for Legoshi, despite the fact that in any other context, a villain like Melon would be completely tone-destroying, because of how exaggerated his evil is. So, in the manga, they give Melon, like, a proper conclusion in the through, like, the fight that he has with Legoshi. In the anime, he just kills himself mid-fight. Fuck it.
What?
The anime went, alright, Melon's crazy, let's have him do some crazy shit so we can rush the fucking conclusion. Hell yeah, baby. What a wasted fucking art. So, like, they skipped almost all of the final fight between Legoshi and Melon. Almost all of it. I'm fucking shocked. So, like, there's this scene, right, in the manga, so it's like the turf war. Legoshi is going into the turf war individually, against, like, all these gains. When he's fighting the Inarigumi, so, like, the fox, the fox gain, the foxes are, like, talking about, like, how they struggle to be with being disrespected for being woman, right? So then Legoshi in the manga, he fucking goes in fucking high heels and a dress to fight them in, because Legoshi cares that much about having a fair fight. Even if it'll cost him his life, right? So, like, that is the ultimate form of him showing respect toward the Inarigumi, right? Which is it is ridiculously absurd and stupid, but it's sincere and it's thematically meaningful. And that's Paru's writing is very specific and is geared toward very specific kinds of anime fan, but it works very well for my tastes, which is the reason why Beastars is one of my favorite anime of all time. In the anime, he just says some fucking words about, like, how much he understands them, and they're like, holy shit, this guy's based, holy shit! Yep, we're just gonna skip the entire fucking fight between them, why the fuck not? We gotta rush the conclusion. Oh no, Melon killed himself! Now fucking Legoshi has to go find Haru because fucking, like, there's, like, this anime original, like, conspiracy plot where, like, the mayor is, like, trying to kill the black market, but Louis doesn't want that to happen, because Louis, like, respects, like, carnivores and shit, right? That's his entire character arc, learning to go from hating carnivores to realizing that he didn't actually hate carnivores, he loves carnivores, and his hatred was more of a reflection of his own self-hatred, right? Louis' character arc is fantastically well written. The anime actually handles Louis surprisingly well. Granted, any positive things I have to say about the last scene are fucking ruined by how much they completely fucking butchered the turf war at the end. Like, what the fuck? I'm so fucking pissed off about that. So as a result, something that I would have rated S tier is like low A minus. I'm so angry about how much they fucking massacred my boy. Like, holy shit.
And this was the end, right?
Yep.
Fuck.
Granted, 3 bad episodes doesn't ruin what is otherwise a ridiculously fucking good adaptation, so... I'd still recommend watching the anime. I would also recommend reading the manga, though, and at this point, I think I might recommend reading the manga first before watching the anime.
Got it.
Which is a little unfortunate, because the anime is absolutely worth watching. The OST alone is so good. I love me some good jazz. And this...
I've got Kaibutsu in my playlist, I've got Comet in my playlist, and I've got Into the World in my playlist. I know any music made by that fucking show is gas.
Absolutely. The OST is gas too. That's great. Like, I gotta send you the 4th opening. The opening for this core is, it is a jazz instrumental. That is unheard of for anime openings, and it fucking slaps. It's so good. Actually, I know we're recording, but I'm gonna find this on Spotify and send it to you. I'll send it in the... I'll actually send it on in the server. Oh, by the way, we have a public server where we yap about shit. If you wanna also yap with us, join the public server, I guess, as if anyone's gonna... If anyone's this far into the video anyway. They're not.
I mean, maybe. Actually, I feel like they might have clicked off after the Jujutsu Kaisen run.
We did go on about that one for way too fucking long, yeah.
Hey, if you agree with us, we're gonna do this little run that we had today.
For real. Anyway, I send it in the public server.
Methinks we'll listen.
Application. But yeah,
okay.
Let me Anyway, we got just 2 more anime left to talk about. So I'm gonna talk about Cosmic Princess Kaguya, baby. This is an anime that I really badly want to have in my A+, but there's like one thing that annoys me about it that makes it an A- for me. Which is so I'll lead up to that though. So Cosmic Princess Kaguya is really good, like really fucking good. If you are someone who loves good animation, this is 2.5 hours of pure Sakuga that never stops the brakes for even a second. It is a gorgeous movie.
It's a movie?
Yeah.
Oh.
So the concept of it, I'd say, is basically, what if we took the tale of Princess Kaguya, but applied modern anime logic to it? To actually prep for this one, I watched the Studio Ghibli adaptation of Princess Kaguya, which is a very straight adaptation of the original folktale, and it's a ridiculously good adaptation. Like, Studio Ghibli cooked with that one. And Cosmic Princess Kaguya almost feels like a parody at first. Like, main character discovers Kaguya from a telephone pole instead of a bamboo stalk. So the main character is like this stressed out, overworked high school girl, instead of a bamboo cutter old man like it is in the original story. So then, like, but in this version, Kaguya ages ridiculously fast, so she's unlike the more gradual progression of Princess Kaguya. I mean, because Kaguya aging fast has always been an aspect of the story, right? But it's like turned up to 11 in Cosmic Princess Kaguya. And so one theme that's common between both movies is the idea of rebellion. In the Tale of Princess Kaguya, the rebellion comes off as a very like natural response to circumstances. Kaguya grew up poor around all the poor people. the father wanted to make her into a princess after he got bunch of coins from that same bamboo stock. So Kaguya is essentially forced into a life that she doesn't want in that movie. So her rebellion comes from the very natural feeling of, yeah, that would suck. Meanwhile, on Cosmic Princess Kaguya is so ridiculously, like, again, it almost feels like parody at first, right? Because she's an impulsive brat who just, like, does whatever she wants, and yet she's very charming throughout, and it's because the heart of the movie is that overworked high school girl Iroha. Her character arc essentially has, like, she has strained family relationships that she works on throughout the movie that Kaguya helps her get through. She also is someone who has a deep passion for music, but isn't able to pursue it at all because of the fact that she has to work a part-time job to pay for her rent, be at the top of her class. So any free time she does get, she just spends playing video games instead of making anything meaningful. But Kaguya, she wants to become a fucking idol, baby. Yep, this is fucking Princess Kaguya, but if it was like Idol Yuri, there's isekai elements, because the game world they go into is like personified visually.
Sorry.
Yeah. Like, this movie is batshit insane, but it's so fucking fun. The thematic core is very strong, the characters are incredibly strong, the animation is fucking gorgeous. My only issue with this movie is the fact that, like, the last 30 minutes of it are noticeably weaker than the rest. Not that they're bad, they are still good, but they're noticeably weaker than the rest. Like, the movie just kind of overcomplicates its plot for the sake of overcomplicating itself. And at that point, I just kind of lost it. Like, okay, can this just be over now? But yeah, otherwise, banger-ass movie. Absolutely loved it. It'll only take up 2.5 hours of your time. If anyone wants to watch it, I'd absolutely recommend it. Honestly, just for the Sakuga alone, because this movie is that fucking gorgeous. But the story it's attached to is incredibly well done as well. Again, really fun, creative, and unique take on Princess Kaguya. Anyway, I love Oshinoko! Peak! Peak! I love me, Peak.
Okay, I read the manga, so I can't comment a little bit on it, but because I'm a fraud, I didn't watch it. Don't worry, by the end of the year, I will have watched it. So stick around for the end of year review, I'll talk about it then. I can really talk about minor bits. I could just, like, say, yeah, what Aiden's saying is right, basically.
Yeah, so this season adapts the mainstay arc, the scandal arc, and the first bit of the movie arc. As an adaptation, it's incredibly strong. The mainstay arc is mostly unchanged. It's about as good as it was in the manga. So honestly, probably the weakest part of the season overall, but it's still doing some very important things. It's cementing Ruby's path into revenge, and then it's also cementing Aqua's desire to get away from that, which makes it so that the scene when Ichigo tells him, "Oh yeah, the dude's still alive, by the way," is such a fucking gut puncher, and it's easily the best part of that arc. The breakup scene between Aqua and Akane is done at the end of the mainstay arc in the manga, but is shifted to the end of the scandal arc in the anime. This is a fucking brilliant structural change, and the reason for this is because the scandal arc represents a massive contradiction in Aqua, because Aqua is someone who who is being pulled by two influences. He's being tied to his past by which while also being tied to the present and the future with Kana. The Aqua's character arc is compelling because the pull between Ai and Kana is something that he has to consistently grapple with. Because when he's fighting for Ai, he's fighting for someone who's not even alive. He's hurting people in the process of trying to satisfy this revenge, despite the fact that Aqua does genuinely try to take people out of harm with the actions that he does. And yet, the fact that he's pushing people away from that harm is the reason why he is harming people to begin with. Which puts Aqua into such a fascinating position. And that's the reason why the breakup happening at the end of the Scandal arc is so important. Because Aqua is usually someone who chooses Ai over Kana. That is his fatal flaw. And yet at the end of the Scandal arc, he contradicts himself. He picks Kana over Ai. Which is why he exposes Ai's secret in place of saving Kana. And yet, despite the fact that this is a blatant contradiction in his mentality, he uses this as fuel for his revenge on Ai's killer instead of acknowledging the fact that he actually loves Kana, which cements it into even deeper tragedy than it already was. It's such fascinatingly well done, complex character writing. And that's the reason why having the breakup scene happen after he makes that decision is so important. Because he is saying, because he's essentially saying, I don't want to put people in harm. If you stay with me, Akane, you are going to be put into harm, because I'm going to make sure that this revenge happens. So he thinks that he's being kind to Akane, and yet Akane is deeply hurt by this, because Aqua is choosing no one over someone, and that's what hurts so much, because the end of the Scandal arc makes it clear that he wants a life with Kana, but he refuses to give himself that life because he hates himself too much to want to give himself that happy ending.
Mm-hmm.
So then the movie arc happens. It's played relatively straight, but then episode 11 happens. It is a 50-minute special, and it does something extraordinarily crucial. In the manga, I have issues with the movie arc, because even though the ideas in it are fantastic, the execution is incredibly fast-paced and ultimately kind of rushed, in my opinion. The anime does not have this issue at all, at all. The reconciliation between Aqua and Ruby is played very slow, so that way you can actually feel things from it. I actually cried watching that episode. It was that touching. So then pair that with the whiplash of Ruby pining over her Oni-chan is one of the funniest fucking things. It was already funny in the manga, but the anime, having that scene be so emotional and then having that get contrasted so heavily by the edgy humor is chef's kiss. And the reason why it works so well as a 50-minute special is because after they get done with that reconciliation, Aqua spends his time making sure that Ichigo and Miyako can get back together. So he's basically done a ton of things throughout the season 3. In season 3, he has saved Kana from the scandal. He has broken up with Akane so that she no longer has to deal with the burden of his revenge. He has saved Ruby from her childhood trauma and also reassured her as Goro, which is the one thing that Ruby's wanted this entire time. He has lessened the load on Miyako. He has allowed Ichigo to move on from his personal trauma. So Aqua is essentially, because that's the crazy thing about Aqua, even though he's manipulative, Aqua is a very kind person. In season 3, you see him fixing other people's problems, but by doing that, he puts the burden of revenge entirely on himself. And he doesn't believe that he deserves happiness like he believes that everyone else deserves happiness. Because he feels that much guilt over the fact that he couldn't stop Ai from being killed. And it is a fucking tragedy. Like, I'm really interested in seeing how they adapt Season 4, because Season 3 was... It took already strong content from the manga, and it elevated it significantly. This is the first season where it feels like all of the elevation chains aren't solely animation things, but also structural and story things at the same time. And holy shit, this is one of the best anime adaptations I've ever fucking seen. It really is.
I mean, I just agree with everything you said. Like, I do still think, what's it called? Like, I think you feel a lot more strongly on Oshinoko than I do. Like, I love Oshinoko, don't get me wrong. I do think you definitely enjoy it more than I do. But I do agree with everything you said. I honestly, like, obviously it's been a while since I read it now, so I can't go that in depth. But I can just say I agree with everything Aiden says with 100% confidence.
Yeah. And like, man, I can't wait for Season 4 to air. I'm making one project I absolutely want to make long term is a fucking massively long Oshinoko retrospective. Like, there's so much to talk about with that show. It is so thematically rich. Yeah. Anyway, my throat's dead now. And yet, I still had to plug my Patreon, baby. Oh my god. I got logged out of my own Patreon somehow. Fuck it, we're just gonna view the public version then. Why the fuck not? Okay, I guess we just had to do it through this menu then. Yeah, so I have a Patreon. Shout out here, gives you no benefits, but allows you to support me financially. Phantom Tier's basic benefits, such as private Discord server, early scripts, scratch video ideas, and video suggestions for this uncut channel. The Confidant tier gives you video-based benefits, such as exclusive videos, unlisted videos, and early... and whatever the fuck, my brain is starting to fucking short circuit. Anyway, God tier gives you access to the top patron role that can apply on my Discord server, the servers, as well as the Patreon roll call, along with access to my Google Drive, which includes all of my horse cock. I really love horse cock. I am gay for horse penis! Anyway, I want to thank my Confidant tier patrons, Regimania and Eternum. Thank you very much for your consistent support on my videos. It means a lot, and I jerk off to you every single night. I want you to know that. Oh my fucking god, I love you so much. I gotta shut the fuck up.
I'm right here, bro.
Anyway, horse penis!